This is the Infinite Receiving Podcast, helping conscious leaders like you tap into a wealth of abundance across all areas of your life and business. My name is Susie Ashworth. I am a single mom of 3 and author of the Sunday Times best-selling book, Infinite Receiving: Crack the Code to Conscious Wealth Creation and Finally Manifest Your Dream Life. On this show, I'll be sharing with you how you can upgrade your identity and your reality to create the life that you have been dreaming of. Because you are ready to be an infinite receiver. Hello, you gorgeous, gorgeous human being. It is Susie Ashworth here, and you are listening to the Infinite Receiving Podcast. And I am coming on live right now. When I say live, I mean live for me, with an idea of what I want to share with you, but I'm a little bit more on the fly than usual. There's just a lot of things running around in my mind. I still feel very excited by life and what's coming and what is ahead. And I'm also having a very real experience of some things feeling super challenging right now when it comes to my personal life and living as a single mum, attempting to be a good co-parent, dealing with 3 children, 1 tween, and a teenager. Oh my God. It is stretching me in ways that I didn't know was possible. As I'm saying that, I'm imagining kind of being in the stocks, like back in the day, and then being taken out of the stocks to being put on one of those stretching machines. It's like, how far can we go? And every single time I think that I'm at my limit, somebody goes, no, you can go further. And it's really interesting to me because it shows me all of the places where I'm just not there. I want to say I'm not quite there, but the reality is how it feels is I am nowhere near there. And as I say that, I am reminded of a conversation that I was listening to this morning with Simon Sinek and Stephen Bartlett on the Diary of a CEO. And Simon was talking about how obsessed we all are with the outcome, and how even though we have been told time and time and time again that it is all about the journey, it is all about who we are becoming on the journey to what it is that we desire. Like, that's the meat, that's the juice, that's the thing that is going to make us, elevate us, increase our capacity, our wisdom, our knowledge, our intelligence, and depending on who we are, hopefully our heart on the way. And so I'm minded that the desire to get to the end of this phase is missing the point. But this is also the work, right? How do I remember that every single moment of this journey, especially the really, really challenging parts, are the things that are making me as a human being? So this is the energy that I'm coming to this episode in. It's a real mix. And I feel like I'm going to start a conversation today with you that we will complete in another episode, maybe even another 2 episodes. But I wanted to share with you a concept that I have been talking about within my coaching certification now since 2023. Since October 2023, when we launched the certification, we launched it with a focus on being able to support people who wanted to create a business model that included live events and retreats. And I identified in 2023 that it was going to become even more important as a coach for you to be able to learn how to not just facilitate great transformation, like world-class transformation, like that becomes even more important when people are turning to ChatGPT to be their therapist and to be their coach. But alongside having a world-class toolbox that you know how to use, experience is going to become even more important. Now, you can put the best experience on in the world and facilitate great transformation, and it still not make a great business. Because if you don't understand profit centers and you don't understand how to curate your content in an event to support people taking the next steps as you post an event, it is very easy to run barely profitable live events. And I know because I've done it. And I know because frequently that is the message that I hear. Live events are too difficult and it's not really possible to make good money from retreats. Both of those things can be true, but don't have to be. And this is what makes our certification, one of the things that makes our certification so unique in the market, is that we're teaching all of this as part of building a coaching brand that is going to have longevity, that is going to, be around in 5, 10 years to come, despite 90% of all new businesses failing within the first 3 years. Not on my watch, and not if you do it like this. Now, all of this is relevant because today I heard on this podcast interview with Simon Sinek and Stephen Bartlett how we were entering into the community revolution. And when I heard him say this, my whole body got goosebumps. As I heard Simon Sinek saying that the skills that you need to be most adept in moving forward are going to be the soft skills of relationship building, the soft skills of being a great human being and understanding what it means to be human, which involves connection, which involves intimacy. It reinforced and affirmed everything that we have been saying about creating community and having live events and retreats being such an incredible vehicle for expediting the speed of connection that you are able to create with individuals, not just as you, the host, and them, but with each other. Because when you're able to build a brand where people are able to connect with like minded individuals and experience life changing moments that are part of an integrated and holistic, safe experience, you help to build friendships. And the next time you're running an event, of course, those people want to come back and experience things again, the iteration, the evolution of that. But not only that, is they'll bring one of their friends and another one of their friends. And so your brand begins to grow. And so this community piece and this relationship piece feels so important, never more important than now, because we're going to see the fruits of you planting the seeds now and understanding this now in 2, 3 years' time. And I will be saying, I told you so, when everybody is talking about it in the coaching world. But most people don't solely want to build a business based on live events and retreats. And I think having seen what happened during COVID times, it's not necessarily the smartest thing to do to build a business purely based on live events and retreats. But what is true, and this is something that I have talked about for years as well, is that in order to build a business, what you really have to become great at, and again, in the world of AI and the world of AI comments, being a real human being that knows how to build relationships is really, really important. And one of the things that we are going all in on with our students who don't already have businesses is understanding that in the first 6 months of you being in training, this is the best time for you to start building genuine relationships. And the reason I say that this conversation is going to be a conversation I know will definitely be continued in another podcast episode is that I have invited somebody to come on and be a guest and just chew the fat with me about this, because the conversation that she is having, which is actually around female friendships, It's slightly different to the conversation that I'm having, but there are so many overlapping points that feel so important. The world that we are living in, people have never felt more depressed. People have never felt more anxious. People have never felt more isolated and lonely. So when you become the lighthouse for community and connection, that is a very, very powerful place to position yourself in. But before you get there, and by the way, community is just two or more people who are committed to growing. I love this definition, committed to growing together. Before you get to that stage, your job is to start to build genuine relationships with people online and in person, of course. But it is easier to build a relationship with people in person than it is online. And yet we spend most of our time online. So when you are willing to do this, again, you are going to be building your business on sustainable foundations. And what was so interesting is that, as you know, if you were a regular listener, I haven't had any guests on the podcast for a long time. It started to feel very, I don't know, didn't feel in alignment. Now I've got actually a couple of conversations that are going to be happening with people that I'm just really interested in having a chat with. And if I'm really interested in having a chat with them, I think that you are going to be interested in hearing that conversation too. But with this particular lady who I have invited on, our relationship has been being crafted over the last year and a bit. And I reflected this to her that I first saw her standing up for somebody who she had viewed as being unjustly treated. And because that went against her values, she spoke publicly about it. And I saw the way she spoke publicly about it. And I thought, I like this woman. I just like her vibe. And I like her ethics and I like her values. And from that point in time, I just started observing. When she would write something, I would read it. And when something resonated with me, I would comment on it. And actually, I saw her having some difficult, challenging contemplations about the work that she was doing and what was going on in the marketplace and all of this stuff. And that vulnerability also endeared me to her. I felt her realness. And then we had a couple of jokes with each other. She posted something and then I would comment and just again being myself. You know what is happening here is that over time we are building a relationship. And then there've been a couple of times where I've seen something online and thought, "Oh, I thought of her, so I'm gonna send this through to her." Until today, when I was again listening to this interview and listening to this conversation, and it really prompted me to reach out. I think it's probably the first, I don't know if it's the first voice note, but this is the first voice note about her work because I think previously I just sent text. And we ended up having this conversation over about 10 voice notes. And it was so rich and it was so juicy. And I learned a lot about her level of just wisdom that she has about this subject area of female friendships and connection and intimacy. And overall, women's relational health that really blew me away and really made me think, like, I just want to talk to you for a long time about this. I really want to get under the hood because I think that it is so important for my students to understand what it means to not only be a facilitator of incredible relationships, but also know how to build them themselves. And she shared with me this really interesting stat that it takes a period of 36 hours over a period of 6 months in order to move from acquaintance to friendship. And that's what's so interesting about retreats and live events is that you can expedite that so quickly because of the moments of vulnerability and openness and honesty that is shared in the event space, which I have seen for years and years and years and years and years. It's why people can come to my events not knowing anybody, and by the time we get to the first break, be like, "I've found my people. Thank you so much. This is so amazing." I want you to know that that first 6 months when you're in training, if you're in the position where you don't need to be, you can take that 6 months to train. Starting to understand the art of connection and the art of relationship building without needing anything in return is going to serve you so freaking well. And this is one of the things that we are so passionate about, like just really understanding that your sales and the success of your business is going to be based on how good you are at building relationships. There will always be people that are willing to go from cold to sold in 3 days, 5 days. We're bloody excellent at showing people why it's safe for them to do that. And there will always be other people where it takes time. And having them on your email list, great. Being in their inbox once a week, fine. But the inbox is just getting busier. Most of those newsletters are being written by AI, or a lot of them. They feel impersonal, they don't feel real. So, your willingness to take time out of your day to genuinely connect with people, genuinely share points of interest, genuinely share things of value, that is going to make all of the difference. So, I really want to invite you, whatever stage of business you are at, and more importantly than that, whatever stage of life you are in right now, what would change for you if you were intentional about making connecting with people genuinely a priority for you on a daily basis? This can look like sending a text to somebody that you love and care about, sending a letter, taking a gift around. From a business perspective, it can be genuinely reading somebody's posts and leaving a meaningful comment, or seeing somebody who's left a comment on somebody else's post and then engaging in a conversation with them and remembering. And when I say remembering, I mean taking note, putting these names in a spreadsheet, going back to that spreadsheet again and again and again, and seeing what they're up to and being genuine. The best time to do that is when you don't have anything to sell, so that when you actually start selling, it feels natural and normal for those it is appropriate to engage with about the thing that you have. It feels natural and normal for you to do that. So, this episode is about lots of different things: community, connection, friendships, relationships. All of it matters right now more than ever. And I really want to invite you to step into this personally and professionally. Be more human, create more connection. If this has been interesting, useful, valuable, please share it with at least one person. Let this be your vehicle for connecting with somebody. I love you. You're amazing. Please remember that it's faith plus action that equals miracles. And I look forward to being in your earbuds next time.
Thank you for listening to Infinite Receiving with me, Susie Ashworth. I'd love to share with you my Infinite Receiving activation audio. Go to susieashworth.com/activate infinite receiving.